we need to talk. This isn't like an intervention. I'm not ambushing. I just want to talk to you about Iron Lung, Markiplier's brand new movie that just actually had a theatrical release. I went to see it last night. I've been thinking about it, and I just wanted to say some stuff. With those unfamiliar with the project, probably not Markiplier, but if so, he is a giant YouTube personality. He has been self-funding, financing, and creating this movie over the past couple years based on a video game called Iron Lung. Now, just for starters, I haven't played Iron Lung. If you know me, it's no secret I don't like spooky games. Fun fact, you might know this, Markiplier is actually one of the reasons this channel exists. My original channel, A Bowl of Fruit, was created and inspired by Sea Nanners way back in the day. Did that for a couple years, kind of gave up, moved on. But after some of my friends and actually finding and watching Markiplier way back in early 2013 or something, kind of remotivated me, inspired me. And so then I ended up launching this channel, Mr. Fruit. So I got a soft spot for the guy. So with that said, this movie, Iron Lung, Markiplier acts in it, directed it, and helped write it. So he had a lot of involvement in the creative process, unsurprisingly, because this was like a passion project of his, and again, self-financed. So when I first started hearing about it, my initial thoughts was good luck and good for him. Being able to chase after your dream project, a passion project like this, and be able to invest yourself in that. I mean, I can sympathize with how that must feel, and I'm trying to kind of find something like that myself. For instance, I've just been learning some programming recently. Maybe I'll try making a game or something. I don't know, but I have lots of ideas that I usually don't act upon, and you might not know this, but making films was actually the first. In fact, that's what I tried to go to college for, was making films. I always wanted to make films growing up. It's why I knew how to edit when I started YouTube, because I had learned editing in case I ever made short films or movies. Obviously, that didn't pan out. In a way, after watching it, I have kind of put myself in Markiplier's shoes, imagining that this were me. I was in his circumstance, getting to work on my dream/passion project for years, put everything I have of myself into it, be involved in the whole process, get it finished, and not only that, but then get it out to everyone and in theaters. If you guys don't know me, I freaking love movies, and I freaking love movie theaters. Number one on the bucket list for me would be like, make a movie and release it in theaters. So now imagining him, how excited and passionate, what he must be feeling. That's what I imagine, and I just can't keep it like, good job, man. Awesome. It's got to feel so good, and rightfully so. You deserve a pat on the back. The movie itself was good. So I'll get to talking about the movie. There won't be any spoilers. The movie itself was good. It was serviceable. Now, I say that it doesn't seem like the most glowing review because it's not Scorsese. It's not the craziest movie I've ever seen. Will I watch the movie again? Probably not. But did I enjoy it? Yes. And maybe for some other reasons that I sort of talked about, or personal attachments. But with that said, that's also speaking to the fact that I did enjoy it, because the biggest hurdle was the movie starts and I see Markiplier and not Simon. Simon is the name of his character. I'm watching Markiplier. It took a while, not that long, but a little bit, for me to disassociate. So that was the first, all right, it took me a second. And that's what we should talk about, because the movie is a little over 2 hours long. I think it's billed as a horror movie, but to me, if you ask, it's more like a thriller, suspense, spooky vibe. The most interesting aspect of it was exploring this sort of sci-fi world. So the synopsis, just like going in, from what I can gather, there was this thing called a rapture, the light rapture or something, and almost all the stars and planets dimmed or died or something like that, and most of humanity is gone, and now they're looking for salvation or something, and they think they found it on this planet, which is just an ocean of blood. Why do they think this is their salvation and stuff? I don't really know. I don't know if that's part of supposed to be the story, but the main character, Simon, is sent to explore this ocean and look at some things they've found, or possibly try to make some discoveries with this, mission to, I guess, kind of save the world or humanity if he succeeds, but also is spooky. And nobody wants to do it, which is why they sent Simon, seemingly a convict with a dark past that you slowly learn about, whether it be more implicit or vaguely. And as he descends in this, I think that's what they call it, the Iron Lung. It's kind of like this janky submarine. That's where the movie takes place. Like 98% of the movie is just in the submarine. And I'm always interested in these sorts of movies. Usually they're also indie movies, rightfully so, because with a smaller budget, you don't have the money for more locations. But so then it's an interesting practice of how do you essentially tell an entire story in one location like this. And that's what Iron Lung seeks to achieve. And so, yeah, let's just get through some of the stuff as a whole. Markiplier's acting was serviceable. At times, good. At times, not so good. There were times during the movie that I was taken out. I'm like, this just kind of seems like Markiplier. The main bits were, I think, the emotional beats didn't quite hit as hard as maybe they should have. But as a whole, he still did well enough that I wasn't sitting there the whole movie thinking this is Markiplier. And at times, and most times, especially towards the end of the movie, just being immersed that this is Simon, this stuff is happening, and letting it all unfold. So it was good enough. Two biggest complaints I think I'd have is movie length. It's a little over 2 hours. And if you know me, I mean, I literally go to the movie theater at least like once a week. I think I saw upwards of 60-something movies in theaters last year. And those aren't repeats, like 60-plus individual movies. I'm an AMC A-list member, but I get a free movie. I freaking love the movie theater. It's my safe space. When I go to a movie, the movie length does not faze me at all. I don't care if I go and see the runtime's an hour and a half, or I go and see the runtime's 3 hours. I'm down. As long as it's good, I don't care. With that said, I think Iron Lung, it's a slow burn, but at times, a slow burn. And I don't mind slow burn movies. I like all kind of movies. In fact, some of the slow burns are always the best. But this one took a little while to keep going. And I think if they took the whole project and probably, cut like 30 minutes, they could have condensed it down. It still would have been a slow burn, but at times not feeling like a crawl. Like I feel like the first half of the movie, especially the first fourth, was really slow to get there. So as somebody who had never played the game, didn't know the story or anything like that, I was waiting to see, okay, what's going to hook me here? What's the catch? I was worried at some points something would happen. I'm like, okay, is that supposed to be the thing that's like because they weren't hidden. So I'm like, hope that wasn't it. And it wasn't really, because it does pick up. The second half really starts to pick up. The end really starts cooking. As a whole, that's why I say I think the movie was good. Now, in a biased sense, I think if you're semi-interested, I think you should go see it in movie theaters. Simply, if for no other reason than to support Markiplier and other people moving into this venture, because in that same way, I wish, maybe in a different world, an alternate timeline, that's me being able to do something like that. I kind of gave up on that idea a while ago. One, I certainly don't have the money to self-finance something like that. I have no connections. I don't live in Los Angeles or California. Like, it's just, there's no way something like that could ever come together for me. So maybe I'm living vicariously through him right now by putting myself in his shoes, and I'm loving it. Between the acting and the run, like the other thing was the audio mixing, specifically the dialogue. The ambiance, the music, sound effects and stuff throughout the movie were great and did what they needed to do, especially since so much of the storytelling is done through that, considering the submarine and the the point of the story. But the dialogue at times was hard to hear, if not sometimes seemingly inaudible. And I'm not talking about the times where it's supposed to be, because without many spoilers, a lot of the dialogue he has between characters is through this like speakerphone thing in the submarine. But it was just hard to tell. Like, I think I'm getting some lore dump here, but I'm having a hard time understanding, or the mix of the levels between cuts or audio. And you could ask my wife, I'm a bit of an audiophile when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm very anal, because without subtitles. Like, I like to make sure I see and hear everything in the movie. I don't want to miss anything. Like, I had to pee 30 minutes in that movie. I held that. I got to tell you, I came out and it was, I was a horse spitting out a river. Let me tell you what. Visually, looked great and held up to the silver screen. In fact, probably looked a little bit better than I expected it would. There were also some moments of CGI, and frankly, they were good. Like, it didn't take me out. Any of the CGI shots, some of them I was actually kind of impressed by. I was like, wow, that's a lot better than I would have expected. Like, had I watched that movie, had no idea who it was, what it was, the project, and you asked me, I don't think I would have told you it was some YouTuber trying to self-fund a passion project indie movie. And for me, I think that's the best review somebody could give. Now, will everyone love it? No. And did I love it? Just as a movie in a vacuum? No. I liked it. But I think this movie, if you're a Markiplier fan, or really into slow burn thriller / horror, sci-fi, maybe eldritch horror kind of stuff, I think you'll like it. Other people, there might not be as much there for you. But I just want to share in my excitedness, passion. It just got me fired up. And I just feel something I don't normally feel walking out of that movie, because it was just like that empathetic part of me, I guess. I don't know. But like, man, how cool is that? Now, an interesting question when I was talking about it with my wife that she posed was, do I think this movie could have been better if Markiplier got more people involved? Or perhaps let some other people take over an aspect, like if they got a better actor for Simon, would the movie have been better? Probably. I'll just be honest. Yes, he still made something good and something he should be wildly proud of, especially given how much he took on and the control he had. And I guess really the point of this video is just to say that I thought it was good. Markiplier, if you ever see this, hats off to you, my friend. I hope you continued success. And I know that if you do continue, I imagine this is where it starts. It's only going to go up from here. It's just, it gasses me up seeing people do and succeed on things they want to do, creative projects. I say it gasses me up to see my mutuals thriving and surviving and living their best life in the way that he's a mutual to me because he's a YouTuber. Obviously he's on a, different spectrum in terms of literally everything. I'm proud of him. Yeah, I know that doesn't say much, but good for you, man. That is the one thing I was bummed I never quite hit, which was like the critical mass with certain inertia and whatnot, to where like you have such a large audience and fan base that it's like impossible to fail. And so, like Markiplier, you can start looking into and exploring these different creative outlets because you have such a large base. Like, the reason he was able to get the movie into theaters the way he did was because of his existing fan base. He barely marketed, I don't even really know if he marketed outside of YouTube, because he just needed to make some YouTube videos, and his 30 million plus subscribers, they did all that for him. It's wishful thinking. I think that time has passed, that I would reach that point where I could just start to explore. I too am just a creative individual, fueled by other people's creativity and projects, and I just want to make cool stuff for other people too. And yeah, I think that's why the movie moved me in that way. Not so much for exactly what I saw, but for all things considered. And the fact that I was worried, and I was hoping this wouldn't be the case, that I would walk in, I'd watch that movie, and I'd walk out and be like, "Ugh. Well, he gave it his best, but like, that's rough, buddy." But that wasn't the case. And yeah, I got nothing else to say. I'm just happy for him and motivated. And it further reinforces this idea, like right now with trying to learn some programming and stuff, to just make a game. Even if it's something rinky-dinky, but just start making some other creative projects because I've been so focused on YouTube and so absorbed in it and so focused on trying to figure out how to get back into favor with the algorithm or make something that this and that. And it takes away from that passion for me of just making cool things and videos. And I think right now, I'm trying to invest some of that creativity and myself elsewhere right now, so I don't feel like YouTube is who I am and its performance is my worth. Yeah, here's to hoping I can stick with it and stuff. But hey, if Markiplier can make a movie and release it in theaters and everything, what's stopping me or you from trying to pursue that one thing we've been wanting to do or create? Now, okay, it might not be a movie, but like, I don't know, make that piece of art or write that song or, I don't know, pee pee poo poo. Love you guys.